Well, hello. As you know, I bought the Dell Latitude E5400 laptop, 14 inch, I believe it's 14.1 inch laptop, a few weeks ago, and it arrived last week, and I even got a docking station. However, I want to buy another laptop, either a 13 inch, because I don't have a 13 inch, or a 15 inch, because I just want another 15 inch laptop. I don't think the hard drive's going to be lasting much longer than that, as it's been dropped a couple of times. So, either a 13 inch or a 15 inch laptop. Second hand, of course, I'm not buying a new one because I don't have £600 or more to spend on a laptop, and I don't intend to anyway because I don't need that. Because even though I hate Lenovo, this laptop does what it needs to do, for now anyway. So, as I've got the ePort docking station, I was thinking, right, get a Dell Latitude E-Series laptop, and the point I've got there to make is these laptops are quite hard to get online, especially the newer slot, the E6410, which replaced the E6400, which I believe the E6400 replaced this, but this carried on to be like a lower end model, because the earlier models these had a track point or pointing stick, whereas the later ones, like this one, the ones that came with Windows 7 do not have the track point, because the E6400, which is also a 14 inch laptop and basically looks the same, had the track point on it, and it had a fingerprint reader. However, these E-Series ones are a lot harder to get now, because they're a lot more modern than the D-Series. So I was looking online and I think, right, the D-Series is the best I'm probably going to get. But people decide to put Windows 7 on a D-Series standard. So the standard core processor is not a problem. The system, the D630 and the D830, as long as it's got the Intel integrated graphics, they're good systems, but they put Windows 7 64-bit on there, and these systems really only have 1 to 2 gigabytes of memory. 2 if they put 64-bit on, usually. And the problem with this is Windows 7 64-bit's minimum is 2 gigabytes, so they'd be better off putting 32-bit on there, because 32-bit would run faster on a computer with 2 gigabytes of memory than a computer with and then a 64-bit with 2 gigabytes of memory, due to requirements for the system. As we can see, this only has 2 gigabytes of memory, and it's a 64-bit version of Windows. And it would run much faster if I had the 32-bit Windows on it, or I upgraded the RAM to 3 or 4 gigabytes, or even 8 gigabytes. But the issue we've got is DDR2 memory, which this has, is very expensive now, because they only make it for older systems, and it's a lot more expensive. The processor is very good. It's a 6.2. The RAM still gets a 5.5, and the graphics 4.1, gaming graphics 3.4, and the hard drive is 5.6. Now I'm going to go and compare that to my Lenovo, which has a slightly faster processor, 2.6, and it's a newer processor as well. It's got more RAM as well, but okay, DVR does not appear to be working. But this, I can't get the DVR to work. I don't know if they've taken it out in 8.1, but I'm sure it was there before, in 8. But this is running Windows 8.1. It has a 2.6 GHz, running at 2.59 at the moment, i5-3230M processor, and 8 gigabytes of memory, and of course it's running a 64-bit system. The 64-bit would run good because it's got more than 2 gigabytes of memory, which is the minimum for Windows 64-bit, at least for Windows 8 and Windows 7. I don't know about Vista. Vista might be 1 gigabyte, but I think it's 2 gigabytes. And XP is about 512 or 256, depending on which type of 64-bit you go for. To the Itanium or the standard Intel or AMD 64-bit processors. So I would like to buy another laptop with whatever Christmas money I get. Now, I know I've got at least £20 off one person, so yeah. I've only got £40 because they got ripped off by PC World when buying something for me. Because PC World gave them the £45 model and charged them £55, and the model that they would advertise on TV, which is what we asked for, was, or in fact ordered on the internet, was £55. This model that they gave us was only £45, but they replaced it when we went and told them and showed them the page on the website. So that I'm only getting £20 off them because the hard drives were quite, well, £55, quite good. But I suppose it's a 1TB drive, and 4TB drives are what the price of 1TB drives were 4 years ago. When I bought my first external hard drive in 2011, I paid about £80 for 1TB. And then I paid £75 in 2012 for a 1TB, which replaced that one. I've still got that drive, but it's not functional. I don't know if it's because I don't know where the power adapter is, so it's not functional. But the other problem I've got with this is Windows 7 64-bit takes up more space on the hard drive than Windows 7 32-bit. This has got a 160GB hard drive, which means that it's taking up about, well, if you look at the computer, with more programs on it, I've taken up about 107GB of space. Now, with formatted with NTFS, you only get 148 gigabytes in a 160GB hard drive. That's the same on this system here. But Windows 7 takes up a lot more hard disk space than XP. XP takes up about 1 to 2 gigabytes of hard disk space, depending on the configuration. Vista takes up about, well, the system requirements say you need about 15 gigabytes, and Windows 7, this is 32-bit Windows 7, about 16 gigabytes. But Windows 7 64-bit is supposed to take up about 20 gigabytes. That means, without my data on here, I should be having about, and programs, I should have about 120 gigabytes if I did a clean install of Windows 7 64-bit. Now, I don't mind that because I can just use OneDrive, which I use all the time anyway. I've got and I've got 10 terabytes of OneDrive storage now anyway, because they're awesome, much better than Google Drive. And Apple Charge a complete rip-off, and I don't like Apple anyway. But it doesn't have to be a Dell. I just prefer it to be a Dell. It doesn't have to be an E-series, but I prefer it to be because I can use this docking station. But yeah. So I want to buy another laptop. But anyway, let me just check how much the Windows directory itself, or folder, takes up on the hard drive. Now, if it takes up less than 15 gigabytes, or 16 gigabytes, which is what Microsoft says, for, or 20 gigabytes for 64-bit, I will be shocked. But I understand why, because it has the program files directory included in that. But as you can see, it's going up with almost at 10 gigabytes just in the Windows folder. This is not even including Internet Explorer and Windows Media Player and the default programs. Although Media Center is actually inside the Windows folder. It's in the eHome folder inside Windows folder. So as you can see, this is what Windows takes up for a 64-bit system, not 32-bit of course. I'm surprised it didn't increase when they put when Windows 8 came out. But we're still going up. 16.4 gigabytes so far. It's gonna be, I'll probably hit at least 17, yeah. 17 gigabytes, we're gonna hit quite a large number here. $18 gigabytes. Now that's just the Windows folder. Then you got to include Media Player and Media Center and whatnot. Well, Media Center's in here, and Internet Explorer and drivers and updates. But I don't mind if it's just a 160 gigabyte hard drive. If I have to, I'll install Windows XP on it, even though it's not supported. I'll just install the POS edition, or Windows POS edition 2009. Windows what's it, Windows Embedded POS Ready 2009. I just installed that. That's XP, just gets updates for longer. But I would like a laptop, either, as I said, 13 or 15 inch, and second hand preferably. Any ideas on what I should buy? Oh yes, just another thing to know. One thing I am getting, I know I am because I chose it and I watched them pick it up, is a tripod. And the reason I needed that was because this camera, when you go past 10, the stabilisation is terrible. As you can see, I'm at 17 now. The stabilisation of this camera is terrible when you go past 10 on the zoom, which is why I needed a tripod. So I can zoom in a bit more now with this camera. Well, not now, tomorrow I'll be able to, with the tripod. But another issue I've got to make is that this camera produces files in AVH, whatever it is. Is it on here? I can't see it, but yeah, AVC HD, that's it. Now that produces much smaller files for full HD. Now if I put it into Windows Movie Maker or any other video editing software, it doesn't matter if it's Movie Maker, Sony Vegas, Camtasia Studio, Adobe Premiere Pro, whatever it is called, Creative Suite, it's going to come out at least 2 GB. Now that will take hours to upload to YouTube. I do not have hours to upload video to YouTube, and as well as that, it'll take hours to render. So the point is, if I have to edit video, it has to be 480p. It can't be any higher than 480p, because if it is, it will take me way too long to render it and way too long to upload it. And I do not have all day, all night to render and upload YouTube videos. So, even though this is recorded in full HD, it gets scaled down to 480p by the video editing software. And whatever I may be using at a given time, I keep changing. Sometimes I use Movie Maker, I'm in a rush. Sometimes I use Sony Vegas. I just remembered that I installed that on my computer. And sometimes if I'm editing, if I'm recording video on the computer screen, I'm either using Camtasia or Microsoft Expression Web 4. So it just depends. If I record the screen and do it in full HD, the file is not very big. But if I converting the AVC HD to WMV or MP4 makes the file, if I convert it to MP4, the file's still smaller, but it still takes much longer to upload than it does to upload the AVC HD file. But if I do it in WMA, I get about 2 GB for about 15 to 20 minutes. 2 GB for that long. So I've got a 1 TB hard drive in that computer, and I really don't want to waste it. But anyway, thank you for watching this video, and if you have any ideas about what laptop I should buy, just leave it in the comments. And no, don't say a brand new laptop, because I do not have the money, and I won't have that money to borrow unless I want to buy a little HP Stream, which I will not be buying because it has an Intel Celeron processor, and I would like at least a Pentium processor, unless I'm buying a convertible tablet, which I prefer an Atom over a Celeron, simply because Intel have made the Atoms very battery efficient, power efficient, and also some of them even go up to 2 GHz, so at least the ones in the Intel NUC computers. So yeah, so just leave a comment and you can give me any ideas on what computer or laptop should I say to buy. Thank you for watching this video.